Morning everyone, Ian from DIY Home and Gardening, 1st of January 2025, ridiculous. So first thing to say, Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you all had a good evening last night and here's to a good year. And I just wanted to do a bit of a roundup really on 2024 and show you guys how I saved over £700 by having my allotment. So if I turn the camera around and we can have a look together. So my intention was to do this over the allotment just as I did the same type of video last year, but weather's absolutely horrendous. High winds and been raining, so I'm doing it from the dryness of the lounge. Now what I tried to do or set out doing from the start of the year was I set out basically all the vegetables, fruits, flowers that I was producing at the allotment, and then I also did the same for at home because it was getting well, it's quite difficult otherwise to try and attribute costs and things to everything and split it all out. And then as best I could, I used Sainsbury's, which is I tend to go to supermarket for their pricing, and this is just based on normal stock. So it isn't on, it's not exactly like for like, because everything I grow at the allotment would all be classed as organic. So yeah, it's hard to, well, I don't think there's anywhere really where we'd have this range of organic product. So what I've done is essentially, as I've gone through the year, I've been recording how many of each types or quantities that we've had from the allotment. So broad beans, Sainsbury's comparison, 750 grams, £4.15, and we achieved just over 700 grams, but we didn't achieve double that, so just a one has gone in, which gives us a value of the £4.15, which would have been our saving had we bought them. Now the thing with this is I've put in like beans velour, same pricing as green. You'd never get velour in a supermarket, but you got to do them similar. But the thing is, broad beans, if we hadn't have been growing them at the allotment, and same with some of the French bean velour, to be honest, we wouldn't have probably bought them. So there's a little bit of this where we might not have spent the money, but you get the idea. So I just wanted to sort of show you as to my listing. So we've got the broad beans, peas, French bean velour, French bean green, dwarf runner bean Hestia, which were actually quite a poor crop, to be honest, mainly because the mice were in that bed as well. Runner bean Guinness record. Now those are sold 225 grams. So we only had ourselves 10 lots of those, so that's 2.25 kilos. But I gave away absolutely stack loads of those. I mean, they were regularly on the little piece of help yourself wood outside the allotment plot as well. So yeah, there's definitely more than that. Parsnips, well, they, despite my attempts, they were a crop failure, so we got nothing from them. Again, carrots, did pretty well on the carrots. Potatoes were decent. Jerusalem artichoke, they're still in the ground actually. I do need to lift them, so can't attribute any value to those. Despite having so much of it available, the rainbow chard, we've only actually picked it a few times. If I was to cut it and show the actual weight up there, I mean, there's bloody loads of it. Also gave quite a few bits away, which isn't included in this because we as a family have not benefited financially from that. So spinach is normal spinach, as in the annual type. And the reason that's so low is because I only did one sowing of it of a meal, just to use up the seed. Kale Cavallonero, again, got absolutely stacks of it up there, but we've not used it that much other than for a little bit of side dressing on Sunday meals, or for an alternative to spinach ricotta cannelloni. Cabbage Offenham, so we had 8 out of the 12 of those. Kale Red Russian, only actually had one picking on that, and then it got to summer, caterpillars started decimating it, I've ripped it out. Taunton Dean Kale, again, despite me banging on about it, we only used it fairly early on. We've not used it since. I've taken quite a few cuttings though, so my plan is to use it a lot more next year. Perpetual spinach we used quite a bit, but it's surprising how light it is. So 260 grams is actually a fair whack of that. Orac, I grew that, we didn't use any of it other than me eating leaves at the allotment. Artichoke Globe, again, didn't harvest that at all. Now here's the thing on these. So onions, these quantities look quite good. 40 onions out of Autumn Champion, Red Winter 10, 32 Sensu Yellow. The size was probably about half of what I would normally have, but comparable to a supermarket size. But I started with 250, so you can see the crop failure in the sense that I had there. Likewise, Charlotte Griselle, I've only had a few of those eating wise. Well, we probably had about half the crop because the other half have been saved for planting. Banana shallots, total failure, so not had any of those. Again, with Hermione, we've had some, we've planted the rest. Garlic, so it's 257, gone through most of that one way or other, and I'll explain that at the end. So that's actually quite a big value there. Spring onions, walking onions, again we didn't have any of those because I've just been planting, dividing and replanting. Welsh onion, we literally had one clipping of foliage for that, which was for barbecue season. Beetroot, we've had a lot of beetroot, lot of weight of beetroot, but it's so cheap it doesn't really add too much value to it. Same with kohlrabi, to be honest. There's quite a few where you go to a lot of effort, like celery. I mean, I put in so much effort to grow the celery, and actually we only ate 2 of the self-blanching, and they only have a value in the supermarket of 79 pence at the time when I did this. Didn't use any of the green Utah, which I'd grown, so I grew 12 of each plant of those, so physically not eaten any of the Utah. Radish, again, we had stacks of radishes, but they're quite a cheap product. Sweet corn, masses of sweet corn. If you remember, I had the whole bed of that. But again, it's not until you start writing these things down. A whole bed of sweet corn only contributes 63 cobs. So it's quite space hungry, really. Whereas the mini corn, well, you get a lot of those. You normally get about 3 or 4 cobs per plant, so that's quite good value. Tomatillo, so that's not a common thing from Sainsbury's, so I had to look that up. I can't think who I used for that, but we had over 2 kilos of that, so yeah, it's good value there. Tomatoes, now these are tomatoes I just grew at the allotment, attributed 16 pence a tomato. So 50 tomatoes, roughly, £8 saving. Fennel, ourselves didn't use any of it, gave plenty away to the wife of the plot owner. Leeks, so far we've only used 12 quantities of 400 grams, I should say. Still got quite a lot up there, and it's very easy to get 400 grams because, let's face it, there's probably only 2 veg, not a lot of weight there. Not a lot of plants required for that. Elephant garlic, not used any. Sweet peppers, just had the 1 plant up there, so that only generated about 4 fruits. Swede to date, not had any. Chickpeas, yeah, we had some, but probably only a small can's worth. Now, courgettes, absolutely bloody loads of those. And yeah, gave away so many, and so many oversized ones. Butternut squash, got loads of those, so self-explanatory. Yuki Curies. Now Turk's turban, again I had to get pricing from a different site. Can't think what the site is, that's bugging me. So that was the price that they were quoting, which it was the only place that was available. It was one of the farm type companies. So it was $18.65 per 7 kilos. Well, my Turk's turban were averaging about 6 or 7 kilos anyway. So yeah, I've based it on about 7 fruits. We've still got 1 fruit next door. Tromboncinos, didn't use any, couldn't find a price. Pumpkins, pumpkins were really cheap this year, so £2.50, 11 of them. Zombie pumpkins, £1.50, which are the little gnarled ones. Then they had a couple of giant ones, which have no comparable value, and we didn't use them anyway, just for carving. So fruit-wise, rhubarb, we had a reasonable amount from the allotment. Blueberries, basically 1 small punnet's worth. Gooseberries, 2 small punnets. Blackcurrants, nothing. And then we've got nasturtiums, which oh no, I've missed these out. So dahlias, didn't bother putting a value to those, but we had literally hundreds of those, hundreds of blooms. And that was from July through to end of November. So I probably could put, you know, £1 a stem or something on that if I really wanted to. Nasturtium, companion planting. Tagetes, companion planting. Sweet pea, around about 50 blooms. Vegetables from home. We can see the marked difference in the amount of tomatoes, but I think that's probably, well, that's well under how many you got, but I just, yeah, we stopped counting, to be honest. Had literally, you know, tubs and tubs of them. Cucumbers, out of my, well, few plants, I say, 21 plants generated 73 fruits, 89p, which actually, if you look in the supermarket, if you was to get cucumbers now, late on in the season, they're over £1 a piece now. Watermelon, just managed the 1 melon. Ginger, we've just had a little bit of ginger because the rest has been saved. That's drying still in the greenhouse. That's going to be for planting up. Turmeric, not used any of that. That's gone straight into division and planting up. Sweet peppers, had more sweet peppers here. Chili peppers, had absolutely stacks. And to be honest, we had far more than is written down there. But most of them got turned into sweet chili sauce. So I probably could put a value of sweet chili sauce on there, to be honest. Basil, so 6 plants of purple, 6 of green. Gooseberries, we had loads from here, which was from our gooseberry tree, if you like, our standard gooseberry. Blackberries, had absolutely loads off those, which are on the back wall. Apples, had 15 apples this year, so they've got a value of 47p, which is basically my pro rata pricing. Not that you'd be able to get variety scrumptious anyway. No pears. Rhubarb, just 1 picking. Strawberries, despite planting the whole tower. We had strawberries, but never probably that amount in one go, so it's hard to price up per strawberry. So that's all the veg grown, allotment and the house. Now my extra earnings, if you like. So garlic that have sold at the time of doing this, which I was doing these numbers Christmas Day actually, evening of Christmas Day. So I'd sold 12 lots of 20 cloves of garlic on eBay, £6 a time, plus postage, gives me £72. RHS prize money, £66. Now that is actually for getting a first in, can't find it, the celery, Green Utah. Got a first for 2 of those, so that's £60 for 2 of those. And also got a first on the chili pepper, 3 varieties, 3 plates. So that gives me £1,075.50 as my income, or saving stroke income, plus cut flour if I was to include that. Then my costings, again trying to be, well, as accurate as possible, just because I think that's the only way to do it. So my allotment, as I've said so many times, it's a private site, so therefore it's a lot more expensive than if you get it on the council. £140 for my site. Compost, 15 bags, £100. Fish blood and bone, 4 kilo box of that, £10. Jute twine, so that's the string, 1 ball of that, £4. Shallot griselle, $4.99. Onion sets, there are 5 packs there, equals the $14.95. Then the seeds that I bought for last year were tromboncino, pumpkin zombie, tomatillo, celery self-blanching, chili pumpkin, chili paper lantern, chili paquito, chili etna, sweet pepper hammock, cucumber honey, tomato consuelo, and the orac. They're the only seeds that I bought because last year was my conscious effort to get through all the seeds that I've been scribbling away for years. So that costing there is for all of that, so it's £316.14 is what I spent, which gives me my saving of that. Potential saving minus my costings is £759.36, and that is what I achieved out of the allotment last year. So that is it. That is my costs and benefits for having the allotment and growing the veg at home for 2024. My plan for this year, 2025, is to actually move a lot more of the veg over to the allotment and basically have it as its own growing entity, with very little then having to worry about growing at the house here, which probably will make it easier to keep a tab on what we're picking as well. But yeah, I just wanted to say I quite liked doing it last year, and I just fancied doing it again this year, but obviously me being me, wanted to make it a bit more accurate, more in depth, rather than just trying to say, yeah, we did well out of it. You need to kind of prove these things. But yeah, if you've got any questions on the varieties or what I've done or anything like that, then please send those questions to me. I'll do my very best to answer them for you. Ordinarily, I'd say if you've liked this video, then please subscribe. It's not the most inspiring video. This is a recap video, but please subscribe anyway. Don't forget to hit that reminder button so you don't miss out on the future videos I'm going to do, which will be far better than looking at numbers. And above all else, have fun. Hopefully not get ill as I am. Enjoy your new year, and speak to you soon. Bye for now.